Kip, it's good to see you.
Always.
Welcome back to Birmingham, dude.
Good to be back, man.
How's the tour going so far? Enjoying it?
Man, this whole thing has been special. I mean, the whole acoustic tour period has been something that we really needed as a band. And it's made us that much more tight of a band because you're completely exposed.
Yeah, and you've had Gillian Jacqueline with you on tour, haven't you? And obviously you've had her on the road in America as well. So tell us about being on the road with her and why it's so good for you to bring out these up-and-coming acts like Muscadine Bloodline as well.
I think that all artists in my position get pushed, whether it's by label or management or agents, and understandably so. You get pushed to take out what might be commercially working successfully at that time, and because they want to push that artist. But I've always been a guy that takes out who I want to take out. Yeah. You know, took out Drake for a whole year and the Cadillac 3 and Jillian and Muscadine. I found Muscadine on Instagram. Wow. I'd never heard him or seen him, and I just loved their harmonies. I thought the harmonies were beautiful. I thought their playing was great. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take out Muscadine. And they were like, hang on now, you're doing an entire acoustic tour, which is something nobody else is doing. Promoters aren't really wanting to do it because they're scared it's not going to sell tickets the way your full band show is. We need somebody that's going to, around the whole country, I said, that's who I'm taking out.
You're always right on these things. I should listen to you more. So.
That's who I'm taking out. And I wanted to bring Jillian over here just because I love what Jillian does. And I wanted a chance for this audience, knowing the way the audience is over here, to really be able to hear her music. And I think it's been great for us so far.
Yeah, you're just speaking about how the audience is over here. Like, I've said this to you before, but the engagement you get when we upload a press release or an article is well above anybody else. So what is it about the UK for you personally that just clicks?
I don't know, if I'm being honest. I could sit here and give you a million theories as to why I believe that is, but at the end of the day, I think it's just something kind of unspoken between us and them, and whatever it is, it's working. I do think that the crowds here really crave authenticity. I think that's something that's a very they crave substance, and I think that I think we provide that for them. But I think there's just something. I just think there's an unspoken thing that's been happening over here for years, and it happened the first time we did C2C, and it's just been kind of going ever since.
Yeah. And you've played some amazing venues on this tour as well. I know the Cumberland Caverns video I was watching the other day, that was some awesome venue. And obviously tonight the Town Hall's a historic place as well.
This place is incredible.
So do you put much thought particularly into what's going to work for an acoustic gig, what's going to work for full band?
We sit down before this tour started, we sat down and we were like, all right, we don't want to tackle the size rooms that we might do with a full band. We wanted to make this a very intimate feel, so we definitely scaled down on size of rooms. I think we only did one room that was over 3,000 seats. Yeah. For the most part, it's been kind of like these rooms right here. We kind of locate, we talk about, like my agent talks about certain rooms, and we get in there and I'm like, nah, I don't think that vibe's gonna. I look at pictures of rooms and I hear, different bands that have played in certain rooms, and so that's kind of how we all just kind of get together and figure out where exactly is gonna make for the most special feel.
Yeah, and you released the Room to Spare acoustic EP towards the end of last year. Charlie Worsham was a big part of that, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. I know you've been a massive supporter of Charlie's over the last couple of years, so tell us how important it was for you to have him involved in that project.
Well, first off, Charlie is just a phenomenal player. So
he's one of the best out there.
Yeah, so it's just, that was the easy part, was being like, you knew how great he was going to be, but Charlie does something with an acoustic that I have rarely seen any session player do, to be honest. Like every single note that he plays, it feels like everything comes from his gut, and the fluidity of the way he plays an acoustic is almost unlike anything I've seen with any player. It's an extension of his heart, and you can feel it at all times with an acoustic guitar. So that was the main reason I wanted him, because when we're doing an acoustic record, he's possibly the best acoustic player I've ever listened to personally. Second of all, I just love being in a room musical with Charlie. And the last part, we wanted to work on It Ain't California together in the room. A song that I've always loved, my chorus that I originally had. And then I wanted to work on that with him. So I think it was a lot just because he's so great and I love working with him, but it was too, I want people to be introduced to Charlie. Yeah. People that don't know Charlie, I want them to know who he is because he deserves that.
Yeah, and he wrote Love You to the Moon, which you've been doing on this tour extensively, and the fans seem to have connected with that song more than most. So
yeah, it's that one and Plead the Fifth have been the two that have seemed to get the biggest reaction from the EP. But I've had a lot of people even come up to me, that have been like, it might not have been my favorite on the track, and then I heard it live, and I just became like obsessed with it, Yeah. So there's something about that song live, and I remember hearing Charlie do it for the first time in Nashville at the Station Inn, and I'm 4 bars in, I was just like, what in the hell?
He actually did it at the Long Road Festival last year as well when he performed there, and everybody was like, wow.
Yeah, it's just such a hypnotic lick from the start.
Yeah. So in terms of single releases, you went with The Bull for the last one, didn't you? The most recent single. So I think the fans have been waiting a long time for that one to get its own kind of life, haven't they? So
yeah, and it's just a shame that we had to pull it off of the chart so fast for political reasons, and that's a shame. That's
a travesty because it
is. It honestly, I would agree. It's a complete travesty, but it hurts your heart, when you create things that people, really, when what happens with a fan base when they hear a song, and that if it ever had a chance to get life and be heard, what it would do, but it's the business, and it just happens sometimes.
Yeah. How much of a say do you have in single releases? Is that totally your decision?
I have a lot of say.
Like I have a lot of say. Decision?
The label wanted to put it out too, but we knew what we were dealing with when we put it out. We knew the politics behind some of the roadblocks we were going to face, and it ended up being the politics were too much for us.
That's terrible. That's such a sad indictment of the industry that they can't accept that.
Yeah, it's just you just try to brush yourself off, and you try to hope for the best with the next one. I've had a lot of positive things happen for me, and then I've had things like that it's just part of it, and you just got to kind of roll and shake it off and hope that the next thing works.
Just keep making good music, dude.
That's all I try to do. Yeah.
Well, speaking of bulls, I was going to ask you about the social media video that you uploaded of you and PJ in the bull ring, because I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Just explain.
Well, he was in Costa Rica with me, and PJ is one of my best buddies, and we travel, we surf around together, and he was over in Costa Rica with me, and we just went to like a little local bull riding contest in the town that we were in, and we were sitting on the fence watching, and we noticed that some of the locals were inside the ring, running with the bulls and being chased by them. I said, to hell with it. I hopped down off the fence and I got in, and I was like, you getting in? So he jumped in, and I could tell he was pretty scared, and it was funny because most of the bulls that had come out up until that point were fairly docile. But it happened to be that the first time we jumped in, we got the meanest bull that's ever lived, and it came out just raging, and it was chasing everyone. And it got behind PJ, and I remember yelling at him, run, 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 Forrest, run. And it caught him from behind and just plowed him. And luckily, it ran right over him, straddled him, and it never actually stepped on him. And once the bull had passed, and I saw that he was actually alive and okay, it's the hardest I've ever laughed in my whole life, ever.
Wow, I've seen people take some risks for music videos, but that's just like...
Yeah, that was another level. That was a funny one. That was a funny one.
But you posted a few days ago that album 4 is done. So what can we expect from that? Because you've kind of kept us guessing with each album. Each one's been different, with a different vibe. So what are we going for
this
with
will be different too. Yeah. This is going to have a little bit of those Wild Ones colors to it, though.
My favourite album, so that'll do for me. That's fine.
Thank you. I feel like this has the most meat on the bone of all the records so far. I've recorded some old songs for this one, songs that have always been there's one song that's always been my favorite song that I've ever written, but I've missed it on 2 different records. I just haven't been able to capture the magic of what I felt like that song deserved. And I was finally able to, one night, I woke up and it's like a puzzle piece. And I woke up one night and I grabbed my guitar. It was the middle of the night and I was kind of rolling around this riff, and it just, all of a sudden, the whole thing made sense to me. And I knew in that moment how to go about tracking the song. I knew how to tackle it, and I knew how to put the puzzle piece together, and it just was like glue the minute we got in the studio.
That's amazing. So what's the timeline on the album when you're hoping to get it
We're
out
hoping
there?
to get the first single out, and hopefully the middle of July. And then hopefully the record follows in the fall,
Awesome.
late fall maybe.
Look forward to that. Well, that's just in time for the Long Road Festival, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
I think the record will be probably late fall or early next year.
Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah, but you'll have a new single out
yeah.
by the Long Road Festival for sure.
So, have you heard much about the Long Road Festival?
I haven't.
It is some festival. It's the first time we've really had a proper outdoor kind of country festival over here, and it's going to be super busy. You're going to enjoy it.
I'm ready.
So how much are you looking forward to bringing your kind of big outdoor show to the UK?
Oh man,
You've not done that, have you?
Yeah, it's like people keep asking me, what would I rather do, the full band or the acoustic thing we're doing? And I think there's not one that I prefer more than the other. I think that I needed a break from the electric guitars for a minute. I needed to get back to the root of the song. And now that I've been doing this for 4 or 5 months, now I'm ready to get plugged back in. And I think that's how it works. It's all joyous. So I just think sometimes you got to step away and take a break from something.
Yeah. Well, Kip, thank you for doing this. Appreciate
You
your time
bet,
as
man.
always.
Always good to see you, man.
Enjoy the rest of the tours. I'm sure you will.
You bet, man.